Hello students and welcome to week 6 of English 550. This week I'm doing a very special video announcement and it is focused on using our wonderful Shapiro Library to take advantage of the wonderful free resources that we have. And I want to emphasize that if we were not at SNU, these would not be free. The academic databases are actually very expensive resources and they're not available to the general public, which is controversial in a lot of ways, but that's another issue. For us, we'll just focus on the fact that we do have access to these wonderful resources through the library, and I want to make sure that you know how to use the library well enough to get around and get at the kind of scholarly resources that are considered acceptable at the college level, especially the graduate level. So what we want to do is we want to get after journal articles. Those are the best because, as I discussed in my announcement, they're peer-reviewed. And that is very different from even going through like a team of editors, although that's really good. It's certainly much better than someone just posting whatever they want on the web. It's not the same as being peer-reviewed because what that means is a whole set of scholars from our field reviewed this material and decided that it was good enough to go into this journal. So it's not just this one person saying this is what I think. It's this one person saying this is what I think, and there's a whole team of scholars in the same field saying yes, this is valid or important. So we want to get to those databases that are going to be helpful in giving us the peer-reviewed scholarly journal articles. So the first thing you'll see here, of course, I'm at the library main page. I want to point you first over to the right because this is where you can get help from the librarians. I have obviously done a lot of research in my field, but my field is a little more writing studies, so I haven't done as much literary research. Still, I'm pretty good at keyword searching, so I can help you with ideas, but I'm never going to be as good as a librarian. So if you get really stuck, this is what the librarians are here for. You can text, you can email, you can call, and they are wonderful. They are the research experts, and although I want to help as much as I possibly can, there may be times that we say, let's ask a librarian and see what she or he thinks. So these resources are important, but right now I want to just quickly show you how to get to journal articles. The first thing we're going to do, this is new, this kind of thing right here, these broad search bars were not available when I was in grad school. And they're pretty cool, but you have to know how to limit them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search for Stephen King because he's a modern author, and I'm going to look for his maybe something about his use of language. You're probably not going to find any journal articles on a specific linguistic concept that you're after in relation to your author, but you can certainly find some things related to language analysis or even some literary analysis can be helpful if you know how to use it right. So we're going to do right now, just in this very broad window, you can see I've already practiced Stephen King and language. I'm just going to do a search. No Boolean. This is not as fancy as a librarian would do, but this is kind of how I get by, and it seems to work pretty well. So I'm going to hit search. And then the results that come up mostly are not what we would consider scholarly or academic. So I'm going to switch over here and click on journal articles. Now this is more what I'm after. So I'm going to scroll down. So I like this, an examination of the use of gendered language in Stephen King's Carrie. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I'm after. So in here, we're getting just journal articles related to Stephen King. So this is a really nice resource, but I only see one, maybe two or three that might work really well. So I'm going to go back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to show you another way to get at resources. So I posted in the announcement about using the databases. So if you click on A to Z database list, there are two that I think should be really helpful as starting points. The first one, and the most broad, is Academic Search Complete. So this is really nice because, again, you can limit things. So I want full text only because I want it to be quick and easy right there at my fingertips. I do want peer-reviewed journals. And then I come up here and I'm going to type in my search terms and see what I get. Now here I see the same source that I was after. So this is a PDF full text. So this is really nice. All I have to do is click on that. And then I get to see the whole text of this wonderful scholarly article. But I'm going to go back. And I'm going to, oops, I went back too far. But I'm going to go back in here again because I just got one. So I'm going to try just Stephen King in general. So I'm going to limit it full text, limit it to peer-reviewed journals, and I'm just going to write Stephen King in and see what I get. So now I'm getting more. So here's this one that looks really good. Again, you'll see I'm just getting journal articles, and this is really nice. So some of these look like they might be helpful. I'm kind of skimming based on the titles. See what we have. Construction of the Female Reader, that's very interesting. Oh, this one looks great. The Power of Spoken Word in the Works of Stephen King. That would be excellent if I were doing a linguistic or language kind of analysis. So here we go. I get the abstract. I can read that and see if it's what I want. And then again, I go to the PDF full text. And in just a minute, I get to see the whole lovely article for free. So this is really nice. I'm going to show you one other database. It is called JSTOR. JSTOR specializes in our field a lot. It also has history and other humanities, but it is one that is really good for our field. So I'm going to try Stephen King in here. And I can limit it to journals as well here. Also books, which is nice. You can use some books. I think the key thing is to make sure you're going to these databases and you're finding at least some sources that are journal articles that have been peer-reviewed. This is really, really important that we find these kinds of sources to support our points. Now, I do want you to understand this. You are probably not going to find an article that's on the exact thing that you're doing. Like if you're doing a language analysis of Stephen King and a certain set of books, you're probably not going to find an article that's been written on that exact same thing. So what you do is you find general pieces on your author, or you find language analyses that have been done on other works and see how those have been done. What can you pull from that? Can you find linguistic or language articles in general that would be helpful? And you put them together to build your own case, which is going to be full of your original analysis. And here's the thing. That's a good thing. If there is already an article that's on the exact same thing that you're writing on, that means you have no chance of publication for your own piece. So if you have something that's original, that is going to increase your chances of publication. And toward the end of the term, I will be sharing some links to resources because as grad students, of course, you do want to be thinking about publication. And if you're going to be a teacher or you plan to go into academia, this kind of publication is the kind that you will want to be after. So I hope this is helpful. We have these wonderful, wonderful, beautiful free resources available to us. We do have the wonderful homepage of the library with ways to contact librarians. You can, of course, ask me as well, but sometimes it might be faster to even contact a librarian. But go into Academic Search Complete, go into JSTOR, try the general search and just limit it and see what you find. Again, I don't use Boolean. I'm not the greatest, most sophisticated researcher, but I do pretty well, and I'm not even like super trained. So you can do it. I think that's going to be the key thing, is just know you can do it. And in conclusion, I will tell you the story. When I first started grad school, there were no online full text databases. So I had to drive all over town, sometimes all over my state, or request things via interlibrary loan that would take weeks to get in order to do my research. I had to search a wide variety of libraries. I had to search through stacks and stacks of hard copy journals. I'm telling you, it is so much better these days, and these resources are wonderful and free and right at your fingertips. So I hope this is helpful. Of course, if you have any questions, just let me know. But I look forward to seeing some awesome peer-reviewed journal articles in your final project. Thank you so much, everyone.